Hi there all, and welcome to Mentoring in Tech, Building a Brighter Future. So thanks for obviously joining us today. I'm joined with David Howlett, who is a lead developer at DrDoctor, and also Aurora Brignola, who is also a lead Azure Infrastructure Engineer at DrDoctor. So today we will be talking all things mentorship, what a mentor is, how to get one, the benefits of having it, as well as diving into Dave and Aurora's background in a bit more detail as well. So first and foremost, thanks for joining us both. Dave, do you want to give us a very brief intro to yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I joined DrDoctor 2 years ago after many years contracting, and I think I was slightly disillusioned. I wanted a change. I didn't know what that change was, but my partner worked in healthcare. She works in the NHS, and so I saw an opportunity when I came to DrDoctor in maybe finding some way to help her in some way to make her life easier at work. As it turns out, it's helped me. Much more than it's helped her, but that's just so many different ways.
Awesome, cool, thanks for that. And Aurora, do you want to give a quick intro to yourself as well?
Yeah, sure. I joined DrDoctor 3 years ago as the first sort of Azure Infra engineer for the company. Built out a full team now that we're looking after the estate, the full cloud estate, all very exciting, and the career growth has been absolutely amazing.
Cool, good. So yeah, as I've mentioned, we're discussing all things mentoring today. So Dave, do you want to kick us off and give us a little bit of an overview of what you do, how you mentor, and what a mentor actually is?
Yeah, sure. I'll start with talking about what a mentor isn't and kind of go across what a coach is in contrast. Sure. A coach will, in contrast to a mentor, offer something that's very targeted. They may not have the same skills and experience, but they will be results driven. Usually very short-term engagements, maybe just a very specific thing like a technology thing, or think of a football coach, someone who may or may not have to play football in that way. Contrast that to a mentor who will usually have similar or shared experiences. They might have worked in the same industry, they might have done the same type of job, they might have had to give a response to a situation in a certain way, and they can use those experiences to help a mentee grow their own situational experience. That they can take what they've learned and they can apply that in different ways. That can come through the mentorship program in a number of different ways. You can give them something to do outside of your regular meetings. Say, go away and practice this, and then come back and show me. You could ask them to go and research something that will help them find an opportunity for them to go away and find something that they need that will help them in their journey. It might be finding someone else to speak to, another expert in the field you're trying to engage them in. So, for example, if you don't personally, as a mentor, understand one particular thing, you find that thing for them, send them in that direction, and then assess the results afterwards.
Awesome. Thanks for that. And yeah, I'd like to discuss obviously the benefits of having one, especially within tech, because it's something that I've seen when speaking to more junior individuals. They find it a bit difficult to progress their careers as well, because they've got a line manager, they get their role and responsibility set out, but it's never, or in some cases, it's they don't get the experience in how to progress up the ladder, so to speak. So, yeah, in your opinion, Aurora, how has sort of having a mentor sort of helped you sort of rise through your career?
Yeah, so I think it's been very helpful for me, mostly to get past that imposter syndrome that I think a lot of us have, and also hard to acknowledge that we have that. And that's what I struggled with. And at times, even now, I will do. But I'll be able to recognize it and be like, nope, 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 don't think about that. So it's helped me very much with that at the beginning. Also navigating the options of my career as well. So I think being the first infrastructure engineer in the company, I was like a bit unsure how to navigate the opportunity and what that meant, and how to best try and build out that team. So being given this opportunity to actually build out a team, obviously with help, but just navigating what that means, how to best support the team, how to best manage my own role within that, my own tasks, my own time, how to acknowledge the fact that a meeting is also work, and I should not get frustrated that I don't have time to do work because I'm in meetings. That's fine, that's also work. Or ending up in different conversations left, right, center because of other things, that's also work. And not feeling guilty that, oh my God, I didn't actually get to do any tickets in sprint today because I was dragged in so many different directions. Recognizing that that's fine because that's work, and that comes with the nature of the company, the stage that we're at, the stage that the team is at, and just being comfortable with that, and learning how to manage my time to address the team's needs as well as my career needs. That was very, very helpful for me.
Good, good. So yeah, I guess obviously we've got a chat as well. So guys in the chat throughout it, we'll try and answer as many questions as possible, and there'll be time to answer questions at the end. But yeah, Dave, I guess a good thing that I'd like to discuss is how you actually got into mentoring and sort of the things that you've done outside of work that sort of enabled you to take that into your work as well.
Brilliant question. I'm smiling because I know where this is going. As a contractor, I had no mentorship throughout any of my career. You have to be very get up and go in doing what you do. You sometimes have to be able on a whim to just kind of jump into something new and have no support doing it. On the side, when I'm outside work, which you can probably see from behind me, other side, is a load of martial arts belts. And I progressed a couple of years ago to a black belt and then became an instructor at the studio that I train at. Part of my responsibilities is teaching a group of under sevens. And honestly, if you can teach a group of under sevens, if you can bring them along in a journey, there's nothing you can't do in the workplace. And I live and breathe everything I do in the studio and everything I do in work as one harmonious thing. There's no distinguishing point between any part of my life in that respect. I take the bits I learn at work and I practice them at the studio, and the other way. It's just a whole service thing.
Nice. And how have you found sort of the transition into mentorship? Because it's a pretty daunting experience, at least for me, when I started mentoring people both in work and a little bit outside of work. I guess I struggled to begin with. Like Aurora, you mentioned sort of imposter syndrome. I definitely had that as well, and thinking, oh, is what I'm saying actually beneficial? That sort of thing. So how did you find that?
That is a big problem. Imposter syndrome gets us all. I go through various stages of it and have since I joined DrDoctor. There's a lot of really fantastic people here, and you always naturally benchmark yourself against the people in your peer group. It's very good to understand where you're different from other people, though, and it doesn't necessarily make any sense for you to be the same as somebody else. There is enough space in any place for you to be an individual with your own skills, your own experiences, and be able to improve on those and show that you can just deliver something slightly different to the next person. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Certainly, I've kind of grown into this. I made some mistakes along the way, and it was kind of key to that journey and to provide a better service to people I mentor that I constantly go back and reflect on it. So I had my first experience of mentorship at DrDoctor, for example. I got a bit too close. I overstepped the boundary of what a mentor and mentee agreement should do, and I just got too involved in everything, inside and outside of work. And ultimately, it did not serve the mentee the best. It was very unstructured because that's kind of what I was used to. I was used to more of the targeted coaching style, where you just go for a very quick win, and usually it's someone that you can work with at a particular level. When you're mentoring someone, they may have a completely different level of experience, a different level of engagement with people, with you, with others, and be at various stages in how they can articulate themselves. So you have to be able to take yourself back from it, like you do with a 7-year-old, and explain something in a much simpler way and reframe the problem. And I've had to learn that really quite quickly and reflect on the poor experiences and try to improve it every time.
Okay, cool. And Aurora, what would you say the biggest benefit you've had of sort of having a mentor and being mentored then?
The biggest benefit for me was that the mentor that I had really, so I was quite lucky to find, I think, the right mentor at the first attempt, if I can say it like that. So, because I guess for people, it would take a few tries to like find the right person that suits their needs. I was quite lucky in that sense. It worked out. And I've been a mentee with the same person since 2021, June 2021, so quite a long time. So it's really helped me in my journey of navigating the career and figuring out what I should be doing, and the fact that this is right for me, and understanding how to navigate this changing world of technology. I guess also because my mentor is in the same sort of field, but working for a different company. So it's been very good to understand the market a bit better, discuss, how to progress, where to take my career, where to not take my career as well. So that's been very helpful for me, and it's really helped with my career growth, I guess.
Good. Would you say there's been anything that sort of you can earmark that's sort of sparked a more significant growth as because of having a mentor?
I guess being able to freely discuss my worries, articulate those without, I guess because my mentor is also from outside DrDoctor, I've had that freedom to discuss openly all the different situations and analyze, and without maybe thinking, oh, I can't really discuss this because obviously it's with a colleague, so I can't really analyze the situation. So I think for me that's been a huge help.
That's good. Dave, do you mentor people both inside DrDoctor and outside DrDoctor, or is it purely inside?
I do both. I have a couple of mentees inside and one who was an employee of DrDoctor who isn't at the moment.
Awesome. And do you? I really like what you said there, Aurora, with the fact that you can sort of talk about things from an outside and gain an outside perspective. I mean, do you think it's more beneficial to have someone outside of your company to mentor you, or do you think it doesn't matter?
Hard to say because I've only had a mentor from outside my company, so I don't really know how the dynamics would be with a mentor from within DrDoctor or from within the company that you're working on. I guess it would depend also what kind of relationship you can build with the mentor and how open you can be with them and how open they can be with you, considering that you both work in the same workplace. So
Yeah.
I guess it would depend very much on how you build that relationship.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And how did you? Go on, Dave.
I'll say I'll just jump in on that one. Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think it necessarily matters, but whether you're internal or external, but it's creating a safe space for that to happen. So as long as everything you talk about is confidential, you are within the bounds of whatever agreement you come out with. I think it can be a safe space. If you're working together in the same team, and I have made a conscious decision not to mentor people that I directly work with, because it creates, I suppose it creates a bit of bias in one way, shape or form. If I can directly benefit from them benefiting, I should be outside of any reward for doing it. And so I purposefully don't mentor people that are directly in the teams that I'm in.
Okay. What bias do you think could creep in if you did mentor someone in the team?
You could send someone down a particular path that ultimately negatively affects them. So you could ask them to do something, a task that gives them an adverse result. Or conversely, you could have a big win from them getting somewhere higher, and as a direct result, you gain something out of it. It should be, the bias should be removed from the agreement. So you should have you shouldn't expect a reward for it. Is kind of what I take from it.
Yeah, I get that. And I guess you've been sort of both a lead and obviously a manager as well. So what would you say the difference between in a one-to-one setting between that line manager, direct report, and a mentor-mentee sort of situation?
It's a really good question. Managers, one-to-one as an example, you are looking at the whole package of a person's pastoral care, their work environment, everything. You are the one-stop shop between them and HR, for want of better terms. A mentor and a mentee environment is about helping an employee or a person in general gain a new experience, some new knowledge, a new way of coping with a very specific thing. They might come to you for mentorship on just one thing, whereas a manager is going to be looking at the whole circle of your job, your work life, the lot, your balance. A mentor's not. A mentor's going to be doing something much more targeted that will go over a longer period.
Okay, that's interesting to hear. And with that, then it's probably an interesting question. I mean, the leadership and the people management and the mentorship, do you find you get sort of more, I don't know, like do you find helping people in a one-to-one capacity with a people management or a mentorship more rewarding or the same? Or I guess there's sort of two different things, really.
They really, really are. They are so much more different. They are so far different from each other. They can kind of merge and meld together, but your roles and responsibility as a people manager of someone and a mentor for someone are just different. And that should not be understated, because you're responsible for the company in one sense as their line manager, but as a mentor, you're not necessarily.
Yeah, I agree. Aurora, what would you say makes a good mentee then?
Oh, a good mentee. Hopefully I'm one. I guess being mindful of the mentor's time and the fact that they're doing this voluntarily, so being respectful and I'm booking in the sessions, so it's my responsibility to make sure the sessions are booked. If I can't attend, give enough notice. Be thankful all the time. Have a topic. Don't expect the mentor to be the one running the sessions necessarily. So I always have a long list of topics that I go to and start going through them, and ask questions. If you get like Dave was mentioning at the beginning, the mentor might assign you a task or suggest something or send you to look into something. Do your homework before the next session. Don't be like, oh, this is just mentoring, I'm not going to bother doing that. No, for you to get the maximum out of that, you should be doing what the mentor suggests or tells you to do. Give it a try. It didn't work. Why didn't it work? And yeah, I feel like quite a few things for a
Yeah.
mentee to be a good mentee.
Yeah, I really like that, and I definitely agree with the onus being on the mentee to do things as well, because ultimately you're the one that's looking for help, looking for guidance. So if you agree something in that session and it's like, right, okay, I'm going to go out and do that and learn about it, and if you don't come prepared to the next session, it's almost, well, it is disrespecting the mentor and their time as well. And time is a currency that no one can get back
Absolutely.
as well. So yeah, Dave, for you, what do you think makes a good mentor?
Being open, being honest, setting boundaries. So making sure at the beginning of your engagement, you set up a clear boundary of what you will do and what you
Mm,
won't do and what you'll seek external influences for. So, for example,
mm,
if you're mentoring somebody for a very particular technical experience and they come to say their mental health is poor, they're having struggles outside of work, don't try and jump into it. Make sure you understand that that is a boundary that you should not cross in that particular scenario. And this is from experience because I did cross that boundary.
mm,
So make sure you're aware of the situation and explain to the mentee that you will need to signpost them somewhere else.
mm,
Sometimes just doing it, sometimes being open with them and say, I'm going to have to take this to X and just
mm,
explain this because I think it kind of supersedes our agreement. Secondly, holding the mentee to account, exactly like Aurora said. So if you have an inference that they need to go away and do something, explain why. Don't just say, go and do 1,000 burpees and come back to me with the result and tell me how you feel, because that's not going to be very impactful. It's not going to give the result that you actually want to give. Explain
yeah.
why you want them to go and do something, explain the context behind it and what the result should hopefully be, and then ask them to play it back.
Mm,
Third is to make sure you keep on top of the mentee's engagement. So if you feel that their attendance or their conversation is waning, try and find out if you've reached a natural end to your thing that you're doing, and be happy about that. I think the worst thing you can do is feel bitter if a mentee turns around and says, "I don't need you anymore." I think that's a win. That's an actual win at the end of it. If they've worked out that they've got the tools they need, they've got the experiences they need to do it without having someone there, then I think
mm.
that's brilliant. That is the one reward. That is
Yeah,
the reward
you've
that you
done
get
your
out of
job
it.
then, basically,
Yeah,
haven't you?
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
If they come up with that.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. And the last thing, making sure that everything you talk about is 100% confidential. What is
Mm,
spoken in the room or in the chat, video chat, whatever, stays in the room. If you
yeah.
are looking to talk about it externally, make sure that the mentee is aware of it. Don't just go and talk behind their back, because that just fosters mistrust. And that's
Mm.
not what the environment should be.
Yeah, everything's got to be based on trust and clear
Yeah.
objectives and expectations
Mhm.
as well. I mean, when you start mentoring people, do you sort of kick it off and say, let's agree expectations from the off, and then follow it up in an email or something like that, so you can constantly refer back to that and say, oh, I've signed, like, you've signed up to this, so we need to do it, or let's part
Yes.
ways.
100%. I didn't initially. My first mentee, sorry, in DrDoctor, I didn't. Like I said at the beginning, I approached it in a very much unstructured way. I
Mm,
didn't take very many notes, so my recall on information wasn't necessarily like that, which it really
mm,
should be. You should be able to join the dots between sessions. Excuse me.
mm,
And I couldn't. So I make sure when I take on a new mentee that I introduce the concept of a mentoring contract, and we set out the ground rules. I've got a template I use. There are templates.
mm,
There are very many templates, but it can be adapted. So it explains about coming to the meetings, scheduling the meetings, doing the things that you're asked to take away, being open, being honest, and first and foremost, you're not married. you can end this engagement at any time. It is a thing that benefits the mentee. So if you feel that it's not benefiting you, it's fine to walk away. It's absolutely fine. And just recognizing that.
Yeah, I agree. Yusuf's put in the chat, he said, is it possible to get mentorship opportunity with people you do not have previous relationships with, as you do not work together in the same office?
I can answer to that. Yes, it's definitely possible. That's the mentor that I have. We found each other through knowing people that know people. So just talking to people, building that networking of people within your area, within your field, talking to each other, saying, "Oh, I'm thinking of looking for a mentor. Do you know anyone that might be offering?" Might be looking to get a mentee, and it might not work out the first time. It might not be the right person. Then you might need to find someone else. But it's all about networking, talking to people, knowing people, asking.
Good. And how did you go about networking to get that? Did you sort of was it at events, or were you just literally just going through your network and going, hi, do you know someone that would be interested in mentoring, or did you call them? Like, what did you do?
Yeah, so I think I was a bit lucky in the sense that the manager that I had at the time sort of like through one-to-ones with me, we realized both that I could benefit from having a mentor. He knew someone that knew someone else, so it was like, okay, let me see how I can put you in contact with them. So that's how I went about and how I ended up having the current mentor. But I used to also attend a lot of like meetups, events in Manchester, because I'm based in Manchester. So previously, before COVID, and now after COVID, I've restarted this. So I do have quite a big networking, and do know quite a lot of people within my field in the area. So if I were to go out now and find a mentor now, I'll probably reach out through LinkedIn. I'll probably go to one of these meetups and talk to people, and see what the appetite is from different people that I know that I might benefit, and they might benefit from that. But I think LinkedIn is a very good place to start networking and reaching out to people, and
yeah. And for people on the live, if you are interested and want to get a mentor, or vice versa, if you are a mentor or want to start mentoring, definitely post on LinkedIn saying that. There's the power of LinkedIn post is tremendous, and you can definitely sort of network off the back of that, and then utilize your own network as well. Someone else wrote, can you achieve the same level of mentoring success whether it's done in person or via virtual call?
I think it depends on the individual. I've worked for a long time before COVID, where you're in an office. So the people you interacted with were directly in front of you, and you could see the whites of their eyes, is something I'll often say. So you got that personal experience from your day-to-day work or elsewhere. Since COVID, the landscape's changed. We've all had to learn a new way of working with each other. So virtual has almost become the norm. But on the flip side, that has also expanded our network out massively. There are now people that you can approach in different countries, different regions, different time zones, just a different city, that will happily engage with you. So you don't need to be in the same room or the same city or the same company to do that. So absolutely. But it all depends on your ability to work in that environment. So there is a little bit less personality in the virtual, clearly. I think we've probably all faced this through COVID, but there's no reason why you can't still have the same outcomes.
I guess it could also sort of be linked to that whole in-office versus remote debate that's been going on LinkedIn for the last 3 years. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I guess you kind of get out of it what you put in. You can be taught, you can learn things in a remote environment. It can work pretty well, and as you say, it opens the doors to having these conversations with people in different towns, cities, countries, as well. I mean, you're not going to, or it's very unlikely that you get a mentor who's, I don't know, if you're in the UK and they're in Poland, it's unlikely that they're going to fly in once a month to see you and that sort of thing, where you could quite easily have a once a month video call as well with that. That's leaves me actually thinking about it. How often do you meet your mentor or mentee then? Is it a month? Is it quarterly?
You go first.
I go first. Okay. So we started off every 2 weeks, and now it's monthly, just because there's a lot of stuff going on for both of us. I guess it's one of those that you kind of like agree at the beginning and then be flexible, feedback to your mentor or to your mentee if you feel like it needs to be more often, if you feel like you need to have less sessions.
I tried to keep an initial structure like that, so maybe every fortnight or once a month. For my first mentee, it was very, very frequently, but as I explained, I got too involved and there was a lot of complex stuff going on. So I try and go with something like 2 weeks. So
has Dave dropped? You wouldn't get that in an in-person mentor-mentee meeting, would you? I guess that's one benefit of having it in person.
Oh, the joys of being online.
Yeah, indeed. Whilst hopefully Dave is coming back and isn't having too much technical issues, Warren said he agrees that the mentee needs to have some kind of idea of what they want to learn. How many mentees are ignorant of their own ignorance, and that's when the mentor needs to come in and point out that ignorance as well. Yeah, if you do need to know what you're looking to get out of it. I guess there's no, I guess that's pretty much the same with every meeting you should go into. Like, there needs to be a set agenda, because otherwise you're just going to be sat talking about anything, and then it will likely overrun. I mean, Aurora, do you feel the same, or do you have something else on that?
Yeah, definitely. I think for someone to go out and look for a mentor, they will have identified that they need help in some areas. They wouldn't just go and, oh, I need a mentor, but I don't really know what to talk about. So they will be somewhat prepared to go into that mentorship to an extent. So, and they might be ignorant in certain areas or on certain things, but I would expect for someone to go into and look for a mentor to know and to be somewhat prepared for these conversations and for whatever they need mentoring on. Yeah.
Cool. Dave, welcome back. We were just saying you wouldn't get that in a in-person mentor-mentee meeting, but the joys of technology.
Love it.
But there we go. I wanted to discuss what DrDoctor are doing at the moment with mentorship, because I think it's very vital that we get that across to the people on the live. And it would also be good, those people who are here, if you can put in the chat if you mentor or don't have a mentor or a mentee, and if your company actually sort of have a mentorship scheme as well. So whilst you're putting that in the chat, Aurora, Dave, would you sort of be so kind to discuss what DrDoctor are doing?
Yeah, absolutely. After I joined, I realized there wasn't a company-wide thing, but then I'd never had it. So I introduced the topic at a lead developer chat that we have every sprint, just to kind of understand what the feeling was and just sort of gauge experiences of mentoring or being mentored. Aurora told me about her experience. Some others told me about their experiences with other people. I'm trying to think, about 6 months ago, I got together with some of the engineering managers, and we trialed in the engineering department a mentorship program, helped match up a few people for a period of time, and just engaged them together. We gave them some initial tooling, so gave them a sample mentoring contract to get them going, gave them some ideas of what to do to talk about setting them up for success, both the mentor and the mentee, and ultimately gave them an ear they could talk to at any point. We got some decent buy-in from this amongst the engineering team, but interestingly, people from outside engineering were asking about it. It wasn't just engineers that were coming asking. There were people from our client wings, from commercial, from sales, all across the business. They were also wanted to be involved. And so I started helping our agile coach run some effective feedback sessions, which are part and parcel of mentoring. If you can't give feedback that's impactful and powerful and whatever, you're not going to make a good mentor. And so we started setting the scene for the company-wide thing. And it was clear that there was a lot of engagement in the company. So we've recently just opened this up. So anybody in the company can sign up. We'll help match people together for people that are offering or want certain experiences, and just let them get on with it. We'll be a touch point if they need it, if they want other support or tools, ideas for how to do it. But we will leave it up to them, and then we will just do a retro, and we'll just be pretty agile about it.
Awesome. That's good. And how, I mean, how's the success been so far? Have you had many people sort of take you up on this, and are they starting to mentor and be mentored?
We are literally just waiting for everybody to finish the sign up. It's half term, so it's not the best time. There's a lot of people off in the company. As you can imagine. So a couple of weeks ago, we announced that we had opened it. People just fill in a very simple form, and we'll just work out the details in a couple of weeks, and then I'll be at it. People are mentoring outside this. I'll be clear about that. There are other people that have, as part of my conversations with them, my suggestions that they become mentors or find a mentor, that they are currently engaged from outside of the DrDoctor company one, which I think is good, and it's wholesome, and it's quite rewarding to see that people are willing to do it.
Good. Right, we've had a couple more questions come through. Yusuf also asked, will mentorship ever end? I'm surprised Aurora is still mentee. When does a mentee decide to sign out of mentorship?
Yeah, I'm happy to take that one, because I did mention that I've been doing this since 2021. So yeah, over 2 years now. The reason it's still going on is because I feel like the relationship and the mentoring is still worthwhile for both of us. I still have needs, and I still need help figuring things out with my career. My career has changed over the course of the 3 years that I've been with DrDoctor, still learning to navigate that, still learning to navigate the new opportunities within the company. So I still have a lot of topics for discussion. My list is still very long. We don't get to cover it all the time, and it's still very interesting from both sides. That's not to say that maybe my needs won't change in the near future with maybe new progression in career, change of responsibilities. It might be that my needs and the things that I need to talk about in a mentoring setup will change. And in that case, I'll be able to recognize that and feed that back to my mentor and be like, I might probably need to find someone else. But right now, that's not been the case. It's still been suitable for both of us. Not sure when that will end. I guess it depends on so many things that, yeah.
Yeah, I guess sort of when you because your career has obviously progressed and there's new things to learn at sort of every step of the way. And I'm a big believer that no one is a finished article ever. You constantly should be doing personal development and engaging in feedback and asking for feedback as well. So I think having a mentor throughout your career is definitely going to benefit you. And like all these things, you can change mentor, you can get someone else to help you with something else. So someone also asked, is it?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go on.
I was going to add to that as well, is there's nothing wrong having multiple mentors for different things. So it might also be that my current mentor is very technical. We're having a lot of technical conversations. It might be that soon enough I might need a mentor to help me navigate more leadership sort of like opportunities, and the current mentor might not be suitable, but I might still want to be in touch with the technical side of mentorship. So I might have both. So that's also something that people can explore, having multiple mentors depending on the level that they are in their career.
That's interesting. That was the question I was going to ask, was, is it advisable to have more than one mentor? So yeah, thanks. Thanks for that. Justin said, there's been a lot of talk about the value of an external mentor. There are different scenarios, of course. I could agree in some, but there are some where IP/company confidentiality reasons would lead to an internal mentor being preferred/essential. Does DrDoctor have a process to approve such external arrangements?
Not that I'm aware of. I think that's a really interesting question. I would steer away as a mentee from discussing anything, obviously contractually, that you cannot talk about. As a mentor, I would not try and push an agenda of learning about things that are outside of what I'm there to be exposed to. I think that's part of the professional engagement, isn't it? I think. Understanding where the boundary is, and clearly you can't talk about what code's being written or what the sales strategy is like, because that's not what you're there for. You are there to help them with a particular thing. It might be about the sales strategy, but then you need to talk more generally.
Yeah, more of a high level chat in that sort of thing. Yeah, I completely agree as well, because the last thing you want is sort of any IP issues or anything like that, because the whole mentorship scheme will have fallen apart as well. Mariam asked, what kind of topics would you discuss as an employed/unemployed person?
That's a really good question. One of my mentees who used to work at DrDoctor went through a whole process after they left the company. First, there was a feeling of not being very happy, not understanding the process of leaving, and then struggling to, as an unemployed person, working out how to become employable again. So they went through, and I helped them through this, helped to go through a process of working out how to best engage themselves, how to focus and not be just applying for random jobs. So every single job on LinkedIn and all the other job boards, I'm going to apply for everything. And I got them to strip back their requirements of what they really wanted, what they really needed, what would impact them the most, and help them be much more targeted and really, really finicky about what they applied for, so that they didn't overwhelm themselves with too much information. And I think there is a lot that you can do as someone who is at a particular point in your career, if you're focusing on where you want to be, and just think of the incremental steps. So you're in a job, you want to go up a level. Okay, so how do I get there? I'm going to apply this, and this criteria. I will simplify this. I'll make that bit stronger. I'll go away and learn some more about this thing. Oh, there we go. I've got it. Or I want to get a job. You just apply exactly the same rules. You take small steps. You go through small increments until you can rationalize it yourself, because there is the obviously imposter syndrome that comes in. Why would they pick me? Why would I be good enough? And all that sort of stuff.
Good. Yeah, I do a lot of that in sort of my life as well. I set myself a goal and then reverse engineer it as well. And it's like, there'll be a big goal, and it's right, let's set small incremental things to get to the big goal, because otherwise, if you just go from 0 to 100, it's very daunting. That's when imposter syndrome definitely will kick in. But if you do small bite-sized things, it allows you to sort of progress, and progress unfortunately isn't linear. It's always like that, up and down. So as long as you're improving week by week, month by month, it helps as well. Victor said, how do I get a mentor? I mean, we covered that a little bit at the start, so I'm not sure if you were on the live then, but yeah, just to recap, Aurora, do you just want to sort of mention how to get a mentor?
Yeah, sure. So there's obviously industry events that you can go to and start building a network of people. Reach out on LinkedIn. I think that'd be it's a great tool. Also through people, through work, through your manager. That's how I found my mentor, through my manager at the time, knowing someone that knew someone. So that sort of like chain can help.
Sure. Awesome. Dave's dropped out again with technical difficulties, but there we go. We're coming to the end of the live now anyway. But does anyone else have any more questions for Aurora or myself, and hopefully Dave, if he can get himself back in and the internet back working? Feel
I
free to
guess
put them in the chat.
one thing I wanted to add as well is when you said about getting a goal, like a longer term goal, and breaking that down and helping figuring that out. I guess for me it was different. I couldn't think of that bigger picture, longer term goal, career kind of like aspirations, which is where I think it all started for me. I was like, don't really know where I want to take my career next. So for me, it worked the other way around, trying to
Mhm.
puzzle it from like smaller pieces and trying to see in the future.
Mm.
That's helped me doing the mentorship, I guess.
Okay, good. Have you read any books on sort of mentorship or being mentored or anything like that? If so,
No,
is
I
there any that
haven't.
you'd recommend?
No, I haven't. At the minute, I'm reading more technical books about team topology and DevOps. That's my area of focus at the moment. So I've not really read anything about mentoring, being a good mentor, or anything like that. I think
Mm.
once I'm gonna feel ready to take that step into becoming a mentor, that's when I would really, really like to do some more reading, some more prepping. I feel like, yeah, that would be a natural next step before I actually decide to become a mentor.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. I've read a couple of books more, I guess, on coaching as opposed to mentoring. The Coaching Habits, a really good book as well, and I've had some more recommended to me, but I haven't actually sort of read them. There's like Start Your Mentorship Program, which is a beginner's guide to it, and the ultimate guide to mentorship is as well. So yeah, those are some books that you can either read or, like me, listen to via Audible as well. Toyin, I hope I pronounced your name correctly, said, which skills do you need to become a good mentor? As as Dave's not in this, I'll answer that because I do mentor some people, but I think what he described throughout this is setting clear objectives with the mentee, being a good listener. I suppose having a lot of empathy as well, and understanding what the mentee is actually looking to get out of these sessions, and being a guide as opposed to telling someone what to do as well. Ultimately the mentee has something that they want to either improve on, or they've got a problem, and you should be showing them how to actually get that. And that's where the coaching element comes in, and sort of coaching the answer out of someone as well. I mean, Aurora, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think that's right. And I think maybe the only thing to add to that is, yeah, the mentee would come to you with a problem. Don't try and solve that problem for them or make it your problem.
Mm,
Um, Guide them, be that, yeah, try and understand their situation, but don't tell them how to do it. Guide them and let them find their own way.
mm. Yeah, yeah. I think that I've got a couple more questions, and then we'll wrap up. Sadiq said, "How can a mentee effectively communicate their needs and expectations to their mentor?"
A very interesting question. I guess first of all, you need to have it very clear for yourself what you want to get out of it, what the problem is, or the not the problem so much, but why do you feel like you need a mentor? It has to be first clear to you as a person. And then once you are able to articulate it for yourself, you then should be able to speak freely with your mentor and explain the same to them. But until you fully understand it yourself, it's going to be very hard to then explain it to someone else what is it they need help for.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. Well, thank you everyone for your time and your questions. I'm confident that we answered pretty much everyone's as well. If you are looking to get a mentor, or if you are looking to mentor, post about it on LinkedIn, tag us in it as well. We'll be happy to make introductions for people. But yeah, I really hope you found the live beneficial, and thank you so much, Dave and Aurora, for joining us on this and talking about your experience. And Dave, thank you for bearing with us through the technical difficulties. It's quite all right. It's the joys of tech. We move through it, and we persevered. But yeah, thank you for your time. And as I said, feel free to reach out to us on LinkedIn or contact us via email as well. We're more than happy to help. But yeah, thank you everyone for your time.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Lovely session. Thank you.